What should adult children who have aging parents, where do you start? Yeah.
That's really hard. It's a discussion you have to make sure that they've got planning in place. There are lots of reasons for that, but basically you just have to get up the courage to talk to your parents and say, have you done planning? Do you know what's going to happen? And make sure they understand it's not you're concerned about what you're going to get, but you want to make sure
Right.
that, number one, you minimize the risk of fighting, but also you want to make sure that they know what they want.
Yeah. Right. Which is in estate planning that I've done, it seems like there's a lot more thought than there is,
Yes, yeah,
paper.
They have to think about it. See, and my initial consultation will usually take an hour to an hour and a half, and I send a questionnaire out ahead of time that they can fill out as much as they can, and then we go through that, and then I do a lot of educating. What's the difference between a trust and a will, and what are the options, and why do you want the flexibility of a trust, or why don't you? That takes. But I've also found it takes some time for clients to feel comfortable disclosing to me family dynamics that I need to know to plan properly.
Yeah, interesting. I'm thinking through lots of scenarios where, especially with a trust, where how we're distributing assets and why. Interesting.
Well, if you have a child who owns a business, or they're in a profession that's high risk, the best asset protection plan available is for mom and dad to leave it to the kids in trust.
Yeah.
They don't get to demand a distribution, but the trust can own assets that the kids can then use.
Yeah.
That's good asset
protection. And if there was ever a liability event created or
It's
contrived.
protected. It's protected.
Couldn't attach.
Dentists and doctors are sued frequently for malpractice. Well, that protects assets. And if a trust set up by mom and dad buys all of the equipment for the dental practice, then the dentist gets sued. They can't take the assets because he doesn't own them. He uses them. He has a right to use, but he doesn't own.
Yeah, so you can do a lot of really cool things with a trust then.
You can do a lot. It's very flexible, and that's the flexibility it gives you is really beneficial.
Yeah.